So, imagine me as a 13-year-old girl in school, just making the goo-goo eyes at all the boys, none of which will have anything to do with me. And then I hear of a hilarious comedian, Jeff Foxworthy, with a hilarious little bit about his daughter. Daddy, what's a hoo-hoo? And what does it look like? Now imagine 13-year-old Ashley going to her mother and asking, Mom, what's a hoo-hoo? And what does it look like? Because my health, class book has this weird little mannequin diagram of a side view with it split in half, and you're going, they can't really look like that. Really? Just dangling? And to be fair, when you're reaching, 6th, 7th, 8th grade, going into 9th grade, they don't even show you what your own body is supposed to look like, much less what the other person's body is supposed to look like. So I was super curious, and we're growing up in the middle of nowhere, Southern York County. We don't have the internet. I have a health book, and I have comedians like Jeff Foxworthy, Ron White, a couple others, you get the idea. So when I go to my mother and I ask her this question, and she turns white as a sheet and just kind of stutters at me for a minute and sends me to my room. It's like, all right, I guess I'll go sit here and imagine this. 2 hours later, my cousin has come over, we're sitting on the bed, and we're laughing about the fact that I asked my mother, what does a hoo-hoo look like? And my cousin, who's a couple years older than I, also has no idea, because we're silly little dweeby girls in Southern York County surrounded by cornfields and the men who ride the tractors through them. You're not really going to get much of a chance to look at a hoo-hoo with confidence, which is somehow what we wanted. So imagine our shock, surprise, somewhat dismay, and just utter bafflement when my mother walks in the room 2 hours later with something rolled under her arm, throws it down in the bed, and takes off running out of my room as fast as she can. And it unrolls, and it's a Playgirl. Did you know this was a thing? You've heard of Playboy, you've heard of Jugs, you've heard of Hooters, you've heard of all of the, you want to see the girl bits. There's a magazine for girls with the boy bits in it. When you're 13 years old, this is what you want to look at? So of course we devour this magazine. We're just flipping through the pages, and there are some interesting poses, and there are some interesting shave jobs, and there's some really weird stories, and we are just baffled about the hoo-hoos. It really looks like that. All right. And when I went and asked my mother later, it's why did your mind go to Dirty Magazine to teach me what a penis is? She goes, well, I'm not showing you your father's, and I can't draw. So, granted, nowadays, you have the internet, you just turn that safe search off, and you can have all the hoo-hoos you want. But in my day, you had to get a Playgirl